This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, so I'm going to start this meeting. The only comment I guess I want to say at the top is the workday was great. We had some new people there, which was awesome. I was over an hour late because of work, and so Mark and Caitlin got everyone started, and that was awesome. And like so many of the paths got done, which was really great. We used a lot of the mulch. And so with that in mind, Christine already noticed and already placed an order for more mulch. And there was some concern that that mulch had more grass or pine needles in it, and that might not be what.
I think it was pine needles, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pine needles. Margie emailed me concerns that it was grass.
Nah, I think it's pine.
Cool. But just that she was like, well, maybe we can look at getting another person to bring something that didn't have that. So I'm letting Christine and Margie. Oh, I'm getting feedback from someone, so don't mind muting. Everyone will unmute when we talk. Oh, great. User 15 is coming in. Hello? It's not creepy at all. It's just the gray square that's muted. Wow, cool. I'm letting Christine and Margie deal with the mulch, and then just at the next workday, we'll figure out how to lay down a tarp or something to prevent the grass from growing up into it, or in the case of the jumping worms pile, reduce the worm situation. Great. So before we move on to the bulk of the agenda, does anybody have comments or anything they want to share at the top or add to new business? Great. All right. So have the minutes for August. I'd like to move to approve the the July minutes. So I'd like to move to approve the July minutes. Does anyone second the motion? Great. Norman, all in favor? Aye. Perfect. See, Margie just says that she is running late, but she'll be here. Great. The treasurer's report. So Ted wasn't sure if he could make it today. I'm guessing he can't, or if he shows up later, we can let him fill us in a little bit more. Did anyone have any questions about the financial update that was sent? Or the stated position? Right. I think I'm fine with, if no one's got any comments or concerns about that, if we can go ahead and I'd like to move to approve the July statement of position. Does anyone second that?
I'll second that.
Great, thank you. Oh yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, well, did Ted have any comments in addition to just the report itself? I mean, it looks like we're in fine shape, but I don't know if he had any additional input on that for us to consider.
He did not. He just said that he didn't know if he'd be able to make the meeting, but that not that much had changed. It looked like we haven't done any large purchases really this month, so it looks like we were all good.
Not
But
in-
yeah,
Not anticipating anything coming up.
no, and I guess the only thing that I am anticipating we'll need to deal with a little bit is just getting one of the weed whackers maybe looked at again because it doesn't seem to be working. And it's frustratingly the one that they serviced. So I'm hoping that maybe then if it might even be free because they serviced it and now it's not working. So we can talk about that in a little bit. But I can't imagine that would be too crazy out of budget. Or we can save that until next year because we're doing just fine with the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get one of them started during last week. I couldn't get it started. I think that's the one you're talking about.
All right, I'll take a look at it too when I'm up there.
It's this like the littler one. The
Yeah.
like great. Okay, so I move to approve the July statement of financial position. Does anyone second?
Second.
Mark seconds. All in favor? Awesome. Okay, great. All right, and user 15 is Karen. Great.
User 15.
Oh, there's Karen.
Oh, she's got a new alias.
That's right.
Why can't you just be Pollen Pants?
Yeah,
Then we would know.
Now you're user 15.
Who knows?
It sounds like a sci-fi movie.
It does. Let's see. All right, Karen, you're muted. I don't know if you're trying to say something or not. Think?
I'm using a different machine and I'm
Oh,
learning
Okay.
I'm learning how to use it. So finally. It will change to pollen pants. I will be taking the user 15 off. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, good to see you. So let's go ahead and move on to operations then.
Hold on a minute. My dog's barking at somebody walking by. She's good. All right. She's wagging her tail and she's being pet, so everything's fine. Okay. Not a whole lot. I'm gonna type up a general email. I could use another couple of people on the mowing crew. Caitlin's been helping out a lot, and I'll probably mow.
Andrew maybe was helping, I think, or trying to. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know because I've been out of town twice. I just got back into town again, so now I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Knock on wood. So it would be good to get another person because we still have 2 months of mowing. But everything else, there's one thing that I want to work on, and I don't know, it doesn't require a work day really, but behind the compost on the shed end, we really need to get control of that. I think I might get one of those sides out and watch a YouTube video on how to use it and go back there and go crazy. Just to kind of, I really like to keep things clean so we don't have as many critters. And I would also, and this is something Margie can maybe send out a general email, is when people are putting things in the compost to really try to get it in. Like I had a cleaned out place on the side up by the shed one, and then somebody threw everything on the outside. There's a fence, and just throw the stuff over the fence, and so because we have this ever growing pile coming out, and then there's a bunch of weeds and crap growing where it ought to go. So that's it's kind of an issue. But overall, there were the abandoned plots. I emailed all those people. It was B7, D7, and B2. Those are the ones that are just completely, that nobody's been working them for a while. And so one person got back to me and plans to come up this weekend. I haven't. The other one looks like it got weed whacked. Probably, I hadn't been up there since I got back from Mississippi, and I got back on Monday, so it must have happened over the weekend. It looks fairly recent. So I just sent it out without having gone up there because I knew from before. And then D7, I have no idea. There's no response. And I saw those folks one time, and I've never seen them again.
B7 is Nicole.
Yeah, and she's the one that got back to me and said she would get up there and start working on it this weekend.
And D7, I saw Robin a few times,
Yeah, but when was the
but
last
I
time?
haven't in the past month or two, so,
Yeah.
or the past 2 months. So.
Yeah, I saw them early on when they were planting, but I haven't seen them. I haven't seen I'm not. I was out of the country for a while, and I was down in Mississippi, so I haven't been up there as much as I normally am. But I have not seen them since that one day that I saw them.
Cool. All right. And then I guess if you're still not getting in contact with them, we'll just figure out next steps and just mow it down or do something at the next work day. So
It's not even going to be. It's going to be a work day because it's all raised beds. You can't even mow it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Do you think that if you don't hear from, so the next work day is September 7th, if we don't hear from her by then, basically, I'm just going to go ahead and have us clear it.
Oh, I'll probably send it. I think we should act sooner than that. I'll send another email. Maybe say I sent that yesterday, so I'll probably send it in like 6 days. I'll do it a week apart, and then I'll just it'll be like collection agency. I'll just get more. It's like, all right, if I don't hear back from you after this email, then we're gonna assume it's abandoned and we're gonna start cleaning it out. I don't.
Yeah.
If we
If you
wait
want to
a whole
set a
month,
date,
man, that's a lot of, and it's next to my wife's, so there's critters coming and going and whatnot. So I would rather clean.
well, the reality is there isn't another work day until the next month because
No,
we
I'll
had
just
it already.
I'll start working on it on my own because,
Okay.
yeah, because I'm not, at least it what borders me.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this is, and we've talked about this off and on. This is when I wish we had but I don't know how we would do a reimbursement. Well, actually, we wouldn't have to. We've talked
Yeah.
about like new gardeners doing a deposit almost. So if they just,
We've just had new gardeners take over a plot like that for free,
yeah,
because it's already been paid for.
and I don't even know if someone want, this one's pretty overgrown, so.
I think it's definitely something next year. If you can think on it for the next meeting, I want to have firm dates for when the early summer weed inspection happens and this later weed
Yeah.
inspection, and just communicate if you're going on a trip so that we can have that happen at like those times regardless, and then be able to accommodate with the work days and with the volunteers that we have, clearing those beds, getting them set up for a new gardener, just with a little bit more organization, and to give new gardeners at the beginning of the year, like, these are the 2 dates to keep on your mind. No, these are when we're going to be inspecting your plots, kind of
Right.
thing.
But they should, I mean, I would push back a little on, work party would deal with it because, if you're going to get a plot, I mean, I had a couple people water for me, but I'm not going to ask somebody to weed. But I mean, you're kind of responsible for that plot. And if you can't take care of it, you need to find someone who can. Because
sorry, I mean to clear it. Like if it's been abandoned, I want to be able to know closer to a work day versus right now, I can't do anything about it because we already had one.
Right.
Yeah, Mark.
Well, we talk about work days and we did some good work. There were just a few of us, but we did good work the other day. But it just feels like this could feel like a burden, that somebody craps out on their plot, and then we have to pick up the pieces. And so I would support, a deposit or something for new gardeners. Also, I would consider if something has to be cleared where it's incredibly overgrown, I almost want to say, is there someone we can hire to do that clearing? Because that's just a shitload of work, and who needs this stuff? Pardon my French. We're tired. We work hard anyway in our own garden. So I'm trying to advocate for less work on work days that isn't cleaning up other people's plots that have abandoned them. That's what I would say. That's all.
Well, I think, Mark, the part of the problem with the deposit, we're trying to figure out, because the idea was, okay, if you, like, let's say it's $25, so you put 50 down, and that 25, the extra 25 is a deposit. And if you abandon your plot, you abandon that $25.
Correct.
If you keep the plot and you're going to persist for next year, you've already paid your $25 for next year.
That's right. That's the way I would.
You've proved your worthiness, so to speak. But
right.
the thing is, if somebody didn't want to persist and wanted the money back, like if they're leaving town or something and they just want the deposit back, I think Ted was talking. I think it's complicated to reimburse people out of the account. I'm not.
Karen's got a
feel like,
after.
Yeah, that was the point the point I was going to make, was because we have talked about reimbursing people and it's so difficult to do.
Right.
Then how, if a person took care of their plot and they said, okay, I'm not going to be able to have a plot next year and I'd like my deposit back,
right,
then what are we going to do? Yeah.
Well, that would be something that Ted could investigate. Because, because I can see somebody going, it's $25. I'm not worried about it. I'm not going back. But $50 is different. And maybe it isn't for some people. I mean, it would be for me. But yeah, Karen, I think maybe, when Ted's at the next meeting, because it's not something we need to figure out now, but I think it'd be worth, a continuing discussion about whether we want to do it, and if we did, how we would do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a comment, and then I've got Margie, and then I'll do Mark. I agree. I think I hesitate to use money for this. It's already really hard to navigate money with the city, and we don't. I don't think we have the organization in place to have me or Ted hold on to this kind of money as a deposit with people. I think the reality is we are all volunteers, and when things like vacation or illness or whatever comes up, things go uncommunicated. So I just don't really want to introduce holding a bunch of money for people. And I do think if we can just be more strict about these inspection dates and what communication with us looks like, and say, if you don't get back to us in 2 weeks after we've told you your plot looks abandoned, we will deal with it. Because then we can work on passing these plots off earlier before they're crazy.
Yeah.
And we can clear them at work days before they're, like Mark said, so
I hate feeling
frustrating. Yeah. But in that light, I mean, we can just take a weed whacker too. We don't need to pull up all that grass either. Like, just but yeah, okay, go ahead, Margie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm on a different computer and it's saying my internet is unstable. So
actually, you sound pretty good. So
okay.
Yeah.
I'm on my work laptop. So I'm just wondering, is this suggestion about a $50 with $25 deposit, is that for everyone across the board?
No, it'd be for new gardeners.
Okay, I think we might discourage people from joining with a $50, even if it's presented as a deposit. And if you look around, how many, I didn't, maybe you know this, Frank, but how many gardens are very overgrown? Is it
This year hasn't
only
been as bad. you know.
So does that warrant everybody putting down a $25 deposit? I think people maybe have abandoned their plots and we need to know that. Some of these
Well,
plots look abandoned.
yeah, there's really only 2 that look abandoned. Well, three, but no, I just why I threw that idea out. That's why we're having a discussion. I'm not sold on it necessarily, but
Okay.
yeah, it's something to think about. But I think I think what Sarah said too about just you know putting the announcement out about the weed inspections, and then also if especially after the first one, if there's no response and there's no action on the plot in like 2 weeks, then we should just follow up and go. Then we start saying we're going to assume you abandoned your plot. And
I have no problem with that. I think we
yeah, I
need to
think
take,
and that would be easier because because really, if we put the deposit into the general fund, which would be the idea, then how would you reimburse out of that? And
Yeah.
I have a feeling the city is not going to like the idea.
Mark was next.
I just want to finish and say that, oh, I lost it. Sorry, I lost my thought. Maybe it'll come back.
We'll come back.
We'll come. Well, Mark will go and then we'll go back.
You want me to go?
Mark, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna, come back to that thing. I don't see us having to clean up a plot that's been abandoned, and it's gonna be a royal pain in the butt to have to work on, in addition to all our other hard work. So the other thought I was having was possibly thinking of putting something in the annual budget for, to pay someone to do some kind of clearance or something like that. And that way, it'll be approved for the city, et cetera, et cetera. And, if it comes to that, then we can hire somebody who's going to come in. And unless you guys really want to do this stuff, I mean, maybe I'm just an old fart, but that's my attitude. I don't want to. I mean, we work really hard at maintaining our own plots, and having to go up and clean up somebody's through their negligence. They committed to something, and then they left us holding the bag. It really frosts me. I'm sorry. I just got to say that.
No, I agree. And I'm gonna go. Then I've got Margie. Then I've got Karen. I agree. I think that's like, not to get too like, I don't know, brainy, or like my thoughts about a community garden. What makes community so challenging is that often it is a lot of people having to hold the bag for others when stuff happens, and that's how tension starts, is when a lot of the same people feel like they're having to take on more, and it can feel really tough. And so I do think with some of these suggestions, just like keep in mind, the expectation will not be on you, Mark, to be at these work days doing those projects. We have so many gardeners, and they need to put in their volunteer hours. And it is, we had some new people at this past work day. And so, we can spread that work around and be more firm with people about what kinds of volunteer needs we have, and emphasize that, so many of us, like, these meetings in themselves are your volunteer hours. You don't have to come to work days. Work days are not obligations. But it is really challenging to be in community with people and feeling like, where did they go? Now we have to clean up after this, situation. Margie?
Well, my thought came back to me. We just need to be aware that when we take away people's plots because they haven't taken care of them, we don't always have a waiting list. So those plots might stay empty. So maybe we should be prepared to cover them with something. Whack it down and maybe cover it so we don't keep having to weed it. And also, I have been putting out, as you all probably have noticed, that if people want to help other gardeners weed the plots, they can get community service credit. And I had one person say she'd like to help with that. And I asked her, I wanted to be sure it was okay with her to send out her email address, but then she never got back to me. So I have to follow up on that, because it doesn't have to be on a work day. It could be whoever wants to help at their convenience. And I think we should nurture that a little more, because a lot of people are eager to help, but can't always come out on a work day, like me.
I
That's all.
totally agree. Yeah, that's awesome. Karen.
So I'm just wondering about the alternative plan of hiring someone to come in. I have found it difficult to get dependable landscape people to chop down big chunky things at the house. And I'm not sure how we would where we would find somebody who wanted to come in and just clear that one plot. That might not be a practical thing to do.
And that is true. It would definitely be a new variable of research. Oh, Mark, sorry, I didn't see you hand up.
No, that's fine. Yeah, definitely it'd have to be researched to find if we're going to find others who could help out with that. The other thing is, I was thinking, is it in the gardening agreement that we have everybody sign and submit at the beginning of the year that they are responsible for their plot, and if they should leave it, that they're responsible for leaving it in some reasonable condition? If not, I would suggest that something be added there, and that be explained to new gardeners. If you feel like you can't handle it, and you can't find somebody to take it over for you, you still are responsible to basically restore it to a basic usable condition, meaning get rid of all the overgrowth of weeds or whatever. I think that's something that needs to be said as well.
Yeah, I like that, because even if they don't meet that expectation when they leave, it's good to have people think that when they're signing, like, to keep that in mind.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm also I agree with what Margie was saying about the emphasizing what projects need to be done outside of the work days, which right before workday, I like Mark and Norman and other people have emailed me, what are the projects that need to be done because I can't come to the workday. I'll just try to include with with some of my emails a list consistently of these are the projects that need to be worked on. If you're a gardener, you can't come to the workday, do these things. And make sure that's kind of going out at least monthly as a list of keep working on the paths. Here's the email list of all the gardeners. Ask if you need help, weeding your plot, you can email with Margie to coordinate a work day for your own plot or whatever. But it sounds good. And yeah, Norman.
Is he muted?
All right, you got me? All right, so what would be useful on that, like, I did one of the paths, I mulched one of the paths, but I didn't know what other ones you needed done. I ran out of energy anyway after I did the one path, but knowing which, because you said 2 more paths needed to be mulched. Specific info would be useful.
Cool.
When I
Yeah,
asked
I
if
can
there's
definitely
anything I
do
could
that.
do.
I think I'll have to go out there and see which other one needs to be done. I would say if it's not
I could look
obvious,
around, but
I would say if it's not obvious, then it's probably fine. Good. So, and to use the map with what the community paths are, because we don't want to mulch the paths that are just the ones that aren't declared on our mapping system.
Is it true that those white posts demarcate the appropriate paths?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I did. All right.
Hey, oh my gosh.
Well, one other thing, this is in spirit of community, and it's also a compliment to Mark. I ran into Mark at River Valley or someplace. And I said, "Yeah, the critters are eating my garden. I'm not getting much done there." And all he did was look at me with a big smile and said, "Oh, I've noticed." It got me going. Thank you.
With a smile, we smile. As we
That's
say
right.
it.
That's right.
What I was saying, Norman, was I was missing you. I was missing you.
That's beautiful and funny. Beautiful and funny. All right. Frank?
Yeah, Norman, the white posts, the ones that demarcate the corridors are narrower because they demarcate the plots, but you'll see there'll be two of them that are closer together, and that's where the paths are. They're all lined up pretty well. I mean, you just skip every two plots and go off of the ones that are already mulched.
All right. I also realized in that discussion, I'm pretty sure, did you reach out to A7, Frank?
A7. No, I did not.
I'm worried that one was a little overgrown, and I'd heard through another gardener, that's Nora's plot, and I'd heard from another gardener that Nora was thinking of leaving. I reached out, but I don't know if you want to reach out as well.
Sure.
Just since you're doing it.
Wow, what's up with the number 7?
Yeah, I don't know. That is really, it's a curse, except for who's the other person in 7? Except for Margie's
Yeah.
son. So yeah. Okay. And I think there's some more operation stuff, some hose. I got to use a new sprayer today. It was the best. Thank you, Mark. Truly amazing.
Yeah, Mark's been on top of the hoses and the sprayers for sure.
Hoses and nozzles. We bought a few this summer.
And it's really hard to find decent ones too, man. You know,
Well, Frank, you had the idea of the Flexilla. That's what we leaned toward. Or
Flexzilla hoses are awesome.
yeah, or that other brand, Stanley. You can get
Yeah,
them
the Stanley ones, they're pretty much the same. Yeah, no, those are good hoses.
Yeah.
They're flexible.
Yeah. So I think we're caught up on hoses and nozzles, just to let everybody know, unless there's something else that's missing.
Cool. All right. Any other operations questions or comments from anybody?
I don't have anything more.
Did
Thanks, Frank.
Did Stephen get back with you, Sarah?
Oh, yes, he did. This is the time. He did reach out to the city, and they would not be able to fix that spigot. So would you be able to reach out to Andrew, or would you like me to reach out to Andrew to look at it?
Yeah, I'll email him, and I'm sure he'll be responsive. He'd offered to fix it himself if we couldn't get help from the city, but I somehow thought the city would want to participate. I'm a little surprised. It doesn't seem like it's a big fix, but
which spigot is it?
This is like D11. It's got a
the city's top of. Yeah, they're not responsible for anything in there.
In the faucets.
Nope.
Who installed them anyway?
That was Broadbrook.
Okay, so.
Oh, so maybe we can reach out to them if Andrew can't.
Oh, there's a thought.
But if he can do it for free, then that's a better.
Yeah, I'll try and get Sarah, and I'll get back to you if responds. If not, we can go with Broadbrook. Why not?
Awesome.
Which plot is it again?
It's near D11. There's a mailbox on top of it.
Okay.
Check it out. What happens is you open the faucet, you turn it to close it off, it still runs. And the only thing that's stopping it is it's got a hose attached there, so that prevents it from continuing to spill out. But
yeah, maybe it's a washer or something. Okay. Yeah, if he can look at it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, okay. I'll send him one right away.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much, Mark, for emailing
him
and reminding me. Great. Any other operations?
I have nothing else.
Okay. outreach with Margie.
Well, there's not much to say. Jen Burwell gave up her plot, and new Mark, another Mark L actually, so L doesn't work. Mark Lighthammer, he was gonna take it over, and then he realized, as you, Mark, suspected, that it would just be too much for him. So Yara and her boyfriend Andres have taken it over. I think it's B12, yeah. And she said, yes, it's quite weedy, but she knows that she can get help if she needs it. And now I believe every plot is accounted for. I was going to say covered, and that's partially literal also, because Cheryl and Steve's plot is covered, literally. And I don't think there's anybody on the waiting list. I can't actually access it on this laptop, but I just looked at it the other day, and the only other person on the waiting list is someone who kept asking to be sent to the bottom of the waiting list, and then the last time I contacted them, they didn't respond. So I don't think there's anyone on the waiting list right now. And I don't really have anything else to report. This time of year is a bit slow.
Yeah, I was just checking the wait list as well, and I don't
Like,
see anyone.
Can you see? You can see it?
I can see it, and yeah, I think the only other person I guess would be
Z?
Z, but they're
Yeah.
crossed out.
Z is the one who kept saying, I can't do it, put me at the end of the waiting
Okay.
list. And then when she was at the end and something came available, she didn't respond, or they didn't respond.
And then Johanna, I don't know. She has one of the thistle plots and just emailed me about feeling behind on it and apologizing, but intending to come to a work day or to get out there and work on it soon. But I don't know if she wants to be offered a full plot or not. But since we don't have one officially available yet, we can wait.
Well, if one comes open, I will let her know and see what she says.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I think the note here is that maybe she only wanted a half or something. I can't read it on my the phone is making it a little small, but
I think she was asking for a half a plot, but I don't remember what I think maybe no half plots became available.
yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay, great. Awesome. I feel like I was noticing this when kind of typing up the governance stuff. It was like outreach is the busiest at the beginning, and then operations is the busiest at the end. So it's definitely it's definitely a lot. I wish it wasn't quite so heavy on either side, but all right, Eric. With Path and social media, if you want.
Sorry, I was couldn't find the unmute button, and also trying to take notes on myself while I'm talking. Thank you everybody for doing the pathing during the work thing. I wanted you to put me on the agenda so I could remind people that it needs to be done and that we've got the contractor paper in the shed to do it with, and the wood chips are there. Everybody just started doing it. So some of the paths were done nicely. There are some that still need to be done, but it sounds like they'll get done quickly. They look good.
Awesome! Yay!
How were we? Were we on the workday? Did we use the contractor paper, or was it cardboard or newspaper? Or
we used the contractor paper.
Right. Are there? How many rolls left are there?
Still two. So I mean, nobody was using. Everyone was. There was three. One was smaller, one was middle, one was like new, and
Okay.
none of them got used up because we didn't just use, But I guess the smaller one's almost out.
Okay. So it sounds like there's probably one in spare. So that'll probably
Yeah,
cover
one and a
2 more.
half. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Just wanting you to know. Don't want that to be the reason that it doesn't get done.
Right. No, it was so great. I was really excited to get to use those. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to multitask and it's not working. Everyone can tell. Okay. Thank you, Eric. That's awesome. And also thank you. Eric sent me a great bunch of information about what the secretary does exactly, and the procedure for interacting with the city monthly about our meetings and the agenda and the minutes and stuff. So it was awesome. Is it okay, Mark, if I just CC Andrew on this email you sent me?
Sure.
And then, because it's on my phone, I can't copy and paste his email for some reason, so I'm just gonna CC forward him to you. I think now you have his email. Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay. Great. So the next thing was the donation garden. Stephen is either supposed to be communicating with the gardeners himself or making up an email to have Margie send to everyone with updates about the pickup days and the cooler and whatnot. He has been, I think, disappointed with the amount, the low donations. But I will say, I think stuff was a little slower to start or slower to finish right now because of the lack of rain. But I think that's the biggest update there. Does anyone know, just so it's on the record with the video, is he picking up the donations on which days? Because I can't recall.
Monday and Wednesday, I believe.
I thought it was just Wednesday.
Oh, I thought he was doing both days. Maybe just Wednesday.
Okay, maybe just Wednesday, but Wednesdays in the
Food
morning.
distribution Wednesday at the community center. That's what he had mentioned also.
Oh, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Any questions about the donation garden? All right. All right, Karen, pollinator.
Yeah. So the perennials that were put in previous years are doing great. They were all put in as little seedlings and they're just taking off. They look good. Rebecca and I worked on clearing the middle box, and I've put a word out to get help cleaning the 2 side boxes. Even though we put wood chips down all over it in the early summer, the weeds are just growing right through that. So I'm just wondering, do we have a load of mulch coming in soon?
Yes, sorry, I said that at the top before you and Margie were here, but Christine has ordered another round of mulch. It'll be similar to what we just received. It'll have more pine needles and such in it. And I think that's the mulch we're going to get the soonest because the other companies that Margie has were harder to get in contact with.
Okay, and so I haven't used pine needles. Is there any problem with them?
I don't think so. They might be slightly more acidic. I don't know much about it either, I guess.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
that's okay.
they are
they are.
much more acidic, and they can be used for flowers that like acidic stuff, but they shouldn't be used for vegetables.
Okay. Well, definitely we can redo the pathways and we can do some of the beds. So I've weed whacked all the weeds down, and we're getting the mulch. We need to just get the mulch covering it again to keep the weeds down between now and the end of the season. And I still have my babies here. I just haven't wanted to put them in yet with the heat and humidity. It's hard on me, the humidity and the particulate matter in the air, makes it rough working out there sometimes. So, but other than that, the stuff that's already planted looks great. And where somebody dug up the 2 Joe Pye, they didn't totally dig up one of the Joe Pye. And, sometimes when you damage a plant, it comes back more vigorously. So the one Joe Pye that had been damaged, I mean, it looks glorious right now. So there's Rebecca's husband's gonna help us lift that out of there and put it in the other bed, and hopefully fill in that half of the bed with nice Joe Pye.
That's awesome. I did notice how beautiful it was, but I forgot that was the one that was stolen. So that's funny.
Yeah.
And then I've got Frank next. How does he?
That I had an arborist actually tell me that the pine needle thing is kind of, the acidity is kind of overblown. He said it's not as acidic as most people think. So we can do some more research on it.
Okay.
The other thing, Karen, I've been given an ultimatum to get the butterfly out of a bed at the house.
To get the what out?
The butterfly weed, it's kind of taken over. So can I transplant some up into those raised beds?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The brown-eyed Susans are looking great this year.
Oh yeah. No, they don't ever have a problem.
Yeah. And even with the if the pine needles are a little bit of a problem, maybe I could just sprinkle a little bit of lime over that and compensate that way.
That would work.
Worth experimenting with. Yeah, I'd try it.
Yeah. And most of these plants that I'm sticking in there, they're really hardy perennials, and they probably wouldn't care about the pine needles.
Yeah, I don't think so. I feel like, especially this area was all forest at one point. So
yeah.
What was I gonna ask? Oh, if you need, it's been so dry also, like definitely don't panic about putting in the smaller plants now, but if in the end, if it's still so smoky and weird like this, and you need me to come over and grab the seedlings and throw them in for you, I'm totally happy to do that also.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Any other pollinator things?
No.
All right, great. Thanks so much. Volunteer hours. I'm gonna reach out to Deb since we're nearing the end of the season, and go through all the gardeners and see who hasn't reached their hours, and send them some emails to say get to it. Next, governance. We had a really great meeting 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was awesome. It was Ted, Karen, Charlotte, and I. We hashed through a lot of just like how the garden functions and trying to figure out even more clearly what being a committee member means. We like revised a lot of what we even initially showed you guys. So we don't have anything new like document to show you right now, because I was going to type some more things up. And I think ultimately once I type that up, we just need to read through it and keep talking, and then have some more paperwork to show you. So the next meeting, community garden committee meeting we have is in September. So hopefully we can talk about what being a committee member means at that meeting. And then hopefully with the October and November meetings, we can have some drafts of the new gardener application process done. So that's more prepared going into the next year. All of this, like, we'll see how finalized any of this gets. There's a lot to actually discuss, so it's been a bit slower, or I don't know, kind of as fast as I thought it would be. So we'll see how much finalized documentation we get by the end of this year, but hopefully we'll get some stuff in place, not kind of, so that we're in a good place for the start of 2026. Any questions or comments that we should keep in mind for the next governance meeting? Great. We did not set a date for that, so I just need to send out a when is good for that. And once we have that meeting, I'll announce it just in case anyone wants to come. All right. Compost operations, in light of what Frank said and kind of the discussions we're having with governance, I feel like compost is something that we got the thistle plots really well managed this year, which feels great. And I think it's just been one too many things for me to try to get organized with the compost. So I think if I can look at it as like, this is the year we kind of manage the thistle, next year let's put like all the effort into that compost pile and really working with which volunteer wants to head up a compost crew and work with the person who I had draft us a new plan and all that stuff. We can have that be a big project for 2026. I did have Jessie interested in leading that, so hopefully I can talk to her more and see if going into the next year that still sounds good for her. Any questions there? Great. So the only old business I had was just that we still didn't lay down the plastic on that mulch pile because we didn't have any plastic. I realized that day, I thought we had some, or if we do, I didn't see it. But at the next work day, hopefully we can get that laid over the old mulch pile.
What kind of plastic is that you put on it?
I don't honestly, I feel like a tarp would be fine. I don't know. Does anyone have like a thought about, should it be like clear so that it heats up, or yeah, Margie?
What I notice when I keep plastic in my garden is that it really gets destroyed in one season. I've had plastic around like contractors' bags to keep leaves in over the winter, and by the time spring comes, that plastic, it just falls into pieces. So I think a tarp would be better. Also, if it's going to fall to pieces, the worms are going to get through, and I think that's the reason we want to put something down there. But it's not going to be foolproof,
No.
I mean, no. Yeah, but it's, it's good to take whatever action is possible. But I think a tarp might be a better option. And also Ocean State has, they used to have tarps for very inexpensive. And I go there, I don't know if I'll be going there too soon, but I could pick something up if I knew the measurements and see if they had something.
That would be awesome. I'll maybe try to measure it before the next work day. And we'll talk about that. Eric,
Be careful about putting plastic over wood chip piles on their own. If they get dry enough in the hot sun, can spontaneously combust. Putting a tarp over that is just make it worse.
Under it.
Yeah. Oh, under it's fine. I thought they were putting it on top to smother it. So this is under.
we're putting it on top of what's there now, so that then we can put more mulch on top of that, so the jumping worms don't get in. But do you think there's enough mulch there now that it would be dangerous?
I don't know. It's really a judgment call. If it's a thin layer, it's probably fine. But when it gets piled high, then we should be concerned.
Well, that's one way to get rid of the worms.
Yeah, it's true.
So, question. So it's just because it heats it up too much and then it combusts?
Sometimes it just gets really dry, and yeah, the mulching process generates heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I've heard of it happening, and when my mom had some wood chips on her driveway, she insisted that it was smoking. I don't know.
That's exciting.
Frank. Yeah, that is exciting.
No, I mean, well, if you think of compost, it heats up. You got there's microbes working in there, whether it's compost or wood chips. I mean, even peat forest sometimes will just spontaneously combust. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've used tarps in the past to cover things, and even they that's my neighbor's dog. It's a German Shepherd, but it sounds like some other animal that doesn't exist. I have no idea what that dog is. I'll be quick. So I know we put a tarp over the back compost pile years ago, and like within a year it was already disintegrating. So but I think if we're gonna do this, if we just put it down and we get a load of chips and we're gonna use them up within a season, I don't think that a tarp would disintegrate though. But yeah, we need some kind of barrier. And then maybe, we because the one thing I used to do this on my driveway when I had gravel driveway when it snowed, I would just put tarps down. And my brother thought I was insane when he was visiting until we were using push brooms to get rid of the snow. And then what was left, you just pull up the ends of the tarp and dump it. He's like, damn, this is really smart. I'm like, yeah, it's like one smart thing I actually thought of in my life. But I think, again, because Mark and I were talking about this with the glass compost load, as people get the compost from the edges, you can actually lift the side of the tarp and then just keep piling the compost towards the middle. And then we don't lose any, because we probably lose a half a yard of compost with just the grass growing up through it and everything.
Right.
So I like Margie, if we can go get some cheap ones at some point, that'd be awesome. But I don't think if we use the chips up, then we'll be fine.
So are you talking about a tarp for the compost as well as for the wood chips?
Yeah, I think next year we get a compost delivery, we should put a tarp down before.
And honestly, if they're really cheap, it might be good to have those in the shed, some tarps for, I know we're going to work on the process for people abandon their plots, but like you said, if we could cover them, if somebody abandons it, no one's taking it over, we want to cover it. A tarp can work quickly versus the plastic too. But there's something that somebody said. Oh, I guess I think we're making good time on this meeting, so I don't want to like delay us too long, but I believe it was Christine who mentioned the old mulch pile. Could we just turn that into more parking and maybe create a new mulch pile? I don't have a sense of what kind of ground is underneath the mulch, the current mulch pile. Yeah, Margie.
I was looking at the old mulch pile and I started to pull out some of that Virginia creeper. And there's still really a lot of mulch there. It's being completely taken over by the creeper. But it might not be bad to put a little more effort into pulling out the creeper like a section at a time and using that mulch for the wide pathways. It just seems like a real waste to me to let that just and what are we going to do with it? I don't know about the ground under it, but I do remember that the mulch was further to the right. And I don't know, Frank, if you remember, or Mark, if you remember that, or maybe it was sooner than I'm thinking, that a load came and they dumped it further into the parking lot than it used to be. So there's definitely some space there that could be returned to parking, but now the topsoil is there getting overgrown. So we'd have to move that also.
Yeah, that we were unhappy about that them dumping that there. There's a whole other parking space there, at least one.
Even more than what we dug up, because of the last work day last year, we spent the work day shoveling mulch and opened up that one spot that now unfortunately has topsoil on it. But is there another spot you're saying even still?
I don't know.
I think there's even some more space to the right of where the topsoil is. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess I just don't. Part of me is tempted to. I agree with what you're saying with like letting the wood chips go to waste feels hard or feels wasteful. But I'm kind of getting the feeling Mark is, where I'm like, that is such a big project. The amount of Virginia creeper that we would need to fight through, and then I don't even know what we would do with once we pulled it all up. Feels just feels really intense to me. And I don't know. I guess I'm like tempted to maybe see if we could get a tractor to just push a lot of that stuff back and see if we can get a parking spot and just let that mulch go. But yeah, I don't know if that sounds too wasteful.
Be more efficient, organizing projects where we have to take mulch out and deal with Virginia creeper. This is work hours and peaceful hours, and it goes back to my whole contention that all of us are working too hard as a volunteer group, and usually it falls upon a few people and not everybody equally. So I would support whatever we can do to make it easier. And if you think a bulldozer to push it aside, sounds good to me. Keep it simple. Let's not kill ourselves here.
And how do you feel about that, Margie? Yeah, with the
is that something that we can do? Is all that space, like the space past the mulch into the Virginia creeper? Are we free to do whatever we want with that? Like push everything into there?
I mean, I'm pretty sure like the line of where the shed is considered the community garden. Like, what is it? Like a few feet behind the shed is like the line of the community garden. Something I could email Ava about to make sure that we're not going to do something that affects the restoration of that, of the old orchard that's next to us.
Needs to be using that space.
I'm not opposed to just getting rid of it.
Okay.
I was not liking the piles and piles of grass clippings on the wood chips when I went out the other day to gather some wood chips. And I didn't know actually until I started to move them aside. I didn't know whether the wood chips came with those grass clippings or if we put them there.
I wonder if, now that I'm thinking about it, was it just from somebody weed whacking around that pile, do you think?
It was a thick layer of grass clippings on top of it. It wasn't just, integrated into it. Because that's okay for the main paths, but if it's fresh grass clippings, I wouldn't want to put it inside my garden because fresh grass clippings, in my understanding, robs your plants of nitrogen. So you're supposed to wait till they're really dry before you put it in a growing area. So I just used it around my garden and tried to push it aside to get just mainly wood chips. I just have a feeling, I mean, I gather up grass clippings that are dried out and put them around my plots because it's great mulch, but you do have to wait till it's dry, as I understand it. Maybe theories change all the time, but that's what I learned. And I think it's really a good idea to have a pile of grass clippings and let it dry out because it does make good mulch, but
Well,
not on top of the wood chips.
yeah. I think that'll be something just to talk, if Christine right now has a good source for us, just to have her stress that if they can avoid having grass clippings and what they deliver.
So was that delivered with the wood chips or was it from us?
I don't know because I didn't see it. And when I used the mulch, I didn't notice any grass at the workday, but I also, I don't know, could have not
Oh,
noticed.
you would have noticed. You would have
Okay.
noticed.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see with the next batch of mulch if that happens again. We can kind of put that grass aside and then just talk to Christine about they've delivered it now twice with grass, like figure that out. And I think for now, what I'm gonna do is next meeting, let's revisit this because we do have a meeting before the workday. I'm almost positive.
When is the workday?
So the next workday is September 7th, and our next meeting is September 4th. So we will have a meeting, and we can really decide in that meeting, do we want to set up a new tarp zone for the mulch? And I can reach out to Ava. I mean, I can see what the city can offer us for a tractor and lots of things about the old mulch pile, because it might make sense to just start new. But all of us should think about that if that is what makes the most sense. And then the one variable I am concerned about that I'll also talk to Ava about is in starting some new piles and in other places along the edge of the garden where the garden meets the road is the poison ivy has spread all along that hill. And I am hoping or wondering if the city could help us manage that before I don't know. I'm just nervous about it. I don't want to start using that area and start spreading poison ivy around the garden either.
Good catch.
Yeah.
If
It's
we
one
ask
of my
them for help,
concerns.
they may use Roundup. I mean,
They will use Roundup. Yeah.
yeah,
We should.
I would-
I'm going to ask. We are a part of the Sustainability Commission, so maybe they won't use Roundup. They might. I mean, they're doing all these organic means to restore the orchard right next to us.
yep.
So I'm sure that Ava is not going to say yes, and we're going out there with Roundup right now without us being able to say, don't do that. But but so that's a concern to keep in mind too, as we don't have a lot of ways for a truck to get a delivery anywhere other than the spots we have currently. Any other questions or comments before? Yeah, Karen.
So, so I haven't noticed any painting happening on the shed. Do you know what the status of that is?
I can email, sorry, Lena, right? Lena?
I'm not sure.
It's actually so embarrassing. She has corrected me every time and I cannot remember. But I will reach out to her again because she was working on a drawing last we talked, which was not the last meeting, but the meeting before that. So it's been about 2 months. So I'll see what her updates are. So we can budget for the paint and see what she's thinking.
Yeah. It might
Thank
be
you for reminding me.
too hot for her to work outside on that.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have to help clear. I mean, that's where all that ivy is that Margie's talking about. We're gonna have to do a lot of cleaning.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah, Norman.
I was there when I was doing that path, and Ava came by, and I introduced myself, and I was just tooting our horn, saying, "Wow, did you see what we did over in that plot over there? We put all those wood chips down." And she said how much she liked you, Sarah. So she's great. I think she's a good ally for us.
Yeah, she is so great. And it's funny because she came into the bakery the other day and was like, and I saw how much work you've done with the thistle. And now I know why she brought that up. Good job. Just a great little circle of affirmation there. It was very funny. Yeah, Margie.
Right.
I'm wondering, maybe it's too soon, but I don't want to forget, like the back of the shed is so full of trash, and we really can't clean it now because it's so overgrown, but maybe we should have some sort of a cleanup project going into the fall to clean up that area, because it's really horrible and dangerous. And when it's so overgrown, you can't even see what's back there. But I just remember there's so much wood and pieces of metal and broken plastic. I tried to clean up a little on the side by the table and take just all the garbage and stack up the tomato cages. But the back it's looking so hopeless. And we've been talking about this for years, but it just never gets done.
Well,
So that is a good reminder. And I wonder, in talking to Ava about if the city can help us with a truck, we've brought that up before, and I mentioned it to her in one of our meetings, but I think it also fell through the cracks. So I'll talk with her about that, and maybe we can look at it after the first frost, if that is a good work day. And I think I heard somebody else went to say something.
well, I was just going to add that, it's could be a bunch of work again. So, I mean, and some of it looks, some of those things look kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
So I would, again, lean toward hiring someone to do that. And I'll look into it.
There might be somebody Ava could say they contract with that some cleanup and see.
Excellent. Let's do that.
Yeah. And even if it didn't get done until late spring, when everything is really, really dead, as long as it gets done, while the ground is dried out, that would be fine.
Sooner the better.
Margie.
Is anybody else on Nextdoor?
No.
I'm on Nextdoor, and there's always people on there asking for someone to come out and help for a day or to do this task or offering their services. So we might be able to find someone that way to come and help, and it won't cost as much as like a company. It's just individuals looking for odd jobs. So if we decide to do that, I don't mind posting something like that. If we decide that we want to hire somebody for whatever.
Weird, I might sign up if I get paid. Wow, the person who responded to the ad was me. No, that's a good idea.
I don't have an issue with that.
I'm just looking for some odd job money would be great.
You should go on Nextdoor. There's always
I should.
Asking. They want pet walkers and house sitters and people to weed their garden and help carry this and help do this and that. And
I've also just said now on our public meeting that I'm looking for odd jobs. So if anyone, this is on the city website, everyone has my email. Just email me. Okay, cool. That is really great. And thank you for bringing that up. I think definitely creating a firm date once we have some more information about how the city can help us to either do it like right off after our first meeting in the spring, or here in the fall, but making sure we don't forget about it around the momentum of all the new gardeners and getting all the plots organized. That would be awesome. Great. Anything else should talk about before And yeah,
We
March.
maybe also need to put out, I didn't put this in the last notes, but I think we talked about it, letting people know that the side of the shed is not a trash dump. So don't put all your broken tomato cages and rusty wires and, you know, splintering steaks there. Take it home and dump it. You know, dump it on your own, wherever you dump stuff.
That sounds good to me. That makes sense. Maybe, you know, a goal would be for some more signage that says stuff like that.
Oh, that's a good idea. But there's not much to put in notes tonight, so I think I'm just going to send that message out about trash. Is there anything else that needs to be sent out?
That the next workday is September 7th, time to TBA. Oh, I think Frank's gonna email.
If you're going to put
Asking about
something
mowing
out
crew.
about,
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I've been using the Easthampton dump lately for a lot of different stuff. And they're really funny. You pull in there and there's a bunch of people standing around and they charge anywhere from $2 to $4, $5. And they'll take just about anything I bring there. So we could get rid of a lot of junk there for a few bucks.
You talking about
So
Easthampton
if you're going to
or
put that out. Well, is it Easthampton or Northampton? I don't know. It's right off King Street. Is that Easthampton or Northampton?
well, there's a transfer station on Route 10 going to Northampton.
Valley
But
Recycling.
it.
Yeah, that's
That's it.
Northampton.
Well, they don't card me when I come in.
Oh no, that's open to anybody. That one is.
They're very
I think-
flexible, very interesting. I
Yeah,
take,
no, I
take a bunch
because
of
I
stuff
don't
there
pay for
from the
garbage
garden.
pickup. I just take mine there.
Which one are
So
you
we could
talking
put
about,
that out.
Frank? Which?
It's on King Street.
Yeah, the Valley one.
That's right, Valley Transfer.
Valley Recycling.
Valley Recycling.
Valley Recycling.
Yeah, and that's where we've taken stuff in the past, so I'll keep that in mind. And we can just use, you know, we'll just use the shed key cash to pay for
Right.
that.
Right.
Well, I have a dumpster. I can, in my complex, I can just dump stuff here if it's not like an entire truckload. But if we do little by little, a couple of us can drive over and dump it in the dumpster. I just can't fill up the whole dumpster because it's a pretty, you know, it's for the whole complex. But here and there, bits and pieces, I can just dump them.
Cool. That sounds good to me. For when we tackle that shed project, that sounds awesome. Great. So anything else? No? All right. So the next meeting is September 4th. And this is a great, very efficient meeting. Frank's going to keep us posted about those plots, and yeah, it's going to be a great September or October, whatever, August. And then when we get to September, anyone have anything before I move to end the meeting?
Yeah, hats off to Sarah for leading a great meeting.
Oh, thanks. Gosh. Oh, wow. God, the clapping.
Once again.
No, and thanks everyone for participating in such a great meeting.
It's been a great growing season too. I'm really
Yes.
appreciative and grateful for that.
Yeah, I'm too. Oh, and yeah, sorry. Keep in mind, October, we did set a loose date for the potluck, and we can talk about that more at the September meeting too. Great. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna move to end this meeting. this August meeting. Does anyone second?
I second.
Great. All in favor? Aye. Perfect.
Aye,
Okay,
aye,
great.
aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.